Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Tolhurst and welcome to Chatter Squash YouTube channel today. Yes, another video on the Motormania series talking all things cars, automotive, everything. If you want to like and subscribe to Chatter Squash, please hit the bell notification. I'll alert you when new videos come on the channel. And of course, yes, hope you enjoy the videos that are coming out so far. A lot have been car themed. As you guys know, I'm a huge petrol head. I love cars. I love talking about cars in general actually. So I'm going to be talking tonight on my latest video about an interesting car, a little bit of a new kind of series I'm going to be doing on MG. Now they've become an official partner for Drive Tribe. I know that Mike Fernie and Ben Collins have been doing some content up in Scotland for MG. They've been testing some of the latest new cars. I think the Cyberster as well, which is one of the new MG sports cars. I'm going to be doing a video on the MG Cyberster in a different day, talking to you about that car a bit more, and about should convertible sports cars be electric? That's another question. But we're going to be talking today about the MG3. Now, I drove one of these the other day, actually, so I can tell you guys a little bit more about this car in detail and how this car actually came around. But obviously, the MG3, to any of you guys that don't know, it is a car. It's built under the British brand MG here in the UK, but it is also a Chinese car. It's built in China. It was launched, funnily enough, actually, the MG3, it was launched many years ago, if you ask me, in fact. It was actually launched all the way back in 2008. It was actually produced in China. It was a rebadged version of the Rover Streetwise, which actually, funny enough, ceased production in 2008. Funny enough. I don't know what to say on the original version being very much a rebadged Rover. A lot of these MGs, particularly these older cars, are rebadged versions of Rovers. Obviously, the newer MGs don't tend to be that way. They tend to be built on independent platforms without kind of cloning other cars. Like, they take the design and just rebadge them. They stick an MG badge on the front or a Rover badge, or, back in the day when they'd done the Montego, they stuck an Austin badge on it as well, because they were all technically owned by the same company, British Leyland. So, yeah, this car was technically, again, a rebadged version of another Rover. As well, it used a 1.4 litre engine, as well. It wasn't particularly powerful, as well. Then the second generation of the car came out in 2011. It was actually shown in 2010 at the Beijing Auto Show in the form of the MG0 concept. The new model would use an all-new platform. It was given McPherson strut, front suspension, and torsion beam at the rear axle. Production, of course, was taking place initially in China. Also, development work took place over here. There was also an MG3 Cross. It had a facelift a little bit later down the line. I think the facelift came in 2018. There was a second facelift of the car. New interior, revisions at the front end, and the 1.5 litre engine was also given more power as well. I think it went up to about 100, just over 100 brake horsepower, 105, something like that, just over. Also had 1.5 litre engines. It was originally sold as a 4-speed automatic. And also, I think a 5-speed manual as well were offered on the car. Also came transmissions called Core and Excite. As well. Then we come obviously to the new version, which was released in 2024, but I'll come on to that version in a minute, because that car did actually have some pretty major adjustments actually. Now, this car is really weird. It was actually built, funnily enough, you won't believe this, car was actually built according to MG, according to this, I think it was actually kind of built at Longbridge. Yeah, I have to say, it was certainly interesting. It only scored 3 out of 5 in the Euro NCAP, funnily enough. But yeah, it's really weird. Like, this car was actually, like, the second generation of this car has the very interesting, like, obviously it was Excite and, Core were the main trims. And a 1.5 litre sunroof and all that kind of stuff. And it was also an MG3 trophy as well, which is actually a concept car as well that came out, and Yeah, it was certainly very interesting. I think this car, from what I read up, it was actually assembled at Longbridge. Funnily enough, in England, it was actually assembled in Longbridge. Funnily enough, if you don't know where Longbridge is, that's a factory that used to produce a lot of British Leyland cars. So we had like the Austin Princess, the Allegro, the Montego, the Morris Marina, Vauxhall. There's so many cars, like the Mini as well. Longbridge is a factory that if you never heard back to the roots of it, it goes back to like British Leyland times when we saw like even Triumph come out of that factory. Austin and Morris used to build a lot of their cars there, like the Minor. There's always loads of cars. Austin and Morris. That was a factory in Longbridge that built. I didn't know MG actually built out of Longbridge. That's really interesting this car was actually built out of a very famous Longbridge factory. So yeah, certainly interesting. But the second generation of the car was out for a long time, and obviously it had a facelift in 2018, but it still retained the engine. It retained a lot of parts. I drove one the other day. I can tell you guys, I took my ZS in the other week, and it had I'd done a remap on the infotainment system because it had an issue with the screen kept freezing up at times. So I drove a courtesy car, which was actually an MG3. It was a white one. It was a new version of the car, but it was the old generation before they done the update. So I drove it. I had the manual gearbox. It was a 5-speed. I think it was a 1.5 engine. I tell you what, this car was very, very slow. I mean, 0 to 60 in this car. I mean, you are talking day and ages to get to 60. In fact, I can tell you now that it was an Excite MG3. Okay, 0 to 60 took, according to this, 10.4 seconds. I mean, that was quite something. It's 10.6 actually, according to this, the Excite. I don't know what to say, actually, it was very, very slow, really at the end of the day. You're driving around and the car's got, it's so slow, it's weird. But it came with a lot of stuff. It came with, LED daytime running lights. It came with loads of stuff, actually. DAB radio. So much stuff. It was a lot in the car. Obviously it comes with an automatic gearbox Apple CarPlay, didn't come with Android Auto. I'm not sure if it came with heated seats or not, but there was you obviously had the dials and stuff, came with Apple CarPlay, parking sensors, didn't have a reversing camera, about rear parking sensors, had a lot of stuff, but it was really slow. But to be honest with you, actually for a car, it was fairly affordable. The MG3's always been an affordable car. MG market their cars to be affordable to the buyers, which is exactly what they done. They built a car that was reasonably priced. I don't even know, it was crazy because the Mark II, prices for these now are probably really cheap. You'll be lucky to get one. The older versions of this car have been on sale for £11,000 now, second hand. They undercut so many of its rivals. It was cheaper than a Ford Fiesta. It was cheaper than a sale.I Ibiza, which are all the main rivals to this car. And obviously it wasn't as good to drive as a lot of them, but for a value car, I think it was definitely worth a good choice. I think it's a decent choice for those who want, reliability is a bit questionable, but at the end of the day, it was not a bad option. I think it was one of the better cars MG made, actually. It did have some problems, it wasn't very fast, the engine was becoming outdated, and this is where we move on now to the latest MG3. So in 2024, MG decided to do a complete overhaul of this car, and it was a huge boost. So in 2024, it was the first time that it was available to European markets instead of being solely in the UK, and this was where the changes became huge. So, for example, it was given a hybrid treatment, petrol hybrid, as well. It's only offered with a 1.5 litre hybrid petrol. The third generation obviously was launched in February in Iraq, and then obviously came over to the UK. here as well. Even went over to Australia. And the car uses, obviously, hybrid technology. Comes with a 5-speed CVT transmission, which is continuously variable, of course. In terms of actual power, the car has now 134 brake horsepower, or the combined hybrid of 192. That's for the 143 kilowatt hour version, whilst the 100 brake horsepower kilowatt battery, that has 134. The 1.5 litre engine has gained significant increases in power now. So basically, it's more powerful, it's faster than before. I think the car starts from about £18,000, if I'm correct. From 18,495. It's the MG SE, includes MG Pilot, rear parking sensors, the 10.25-inch colour touchscreen with satellite navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Alternatively, the Trophy features heated front seats, heated steering wheel, leather upholstery, rear cross-traffic alert, blind spot detection with lane change assist and keyless entry as well. Also has a 1.5 litre internal combustion engine. Also has intelligent technology as well, new infotainment system. Basically updates the car. And you can also get your car with a range of different colours. So, for example, the colours on this car go black pearl, atomic white. You can also get dynamic red, Battersea blue, Hampstead grey, some like very British colours as well. So it's now an automatic. Obviously you get the MG's advanced driver system as well, rear cross traffic alert, traffic jam assist as well, air conditioning, heated front seats in the top trim, heated steering wheel in the Trophy trim, front cup holder, as well. In terms of performance now, 0 to 60 miles an hour takes 8 seconds now, 106 miles an hour top speed for the car. And you also get lots of features, hill start assist now, airbags. There's loads of stuff. You get a lot more in this car now. 360 camera as well in the Trophy version. That's another thing that you get in the higher trims. You get the reversing camera. I've got that in my ZS. So yeah. But that's the new version of the MG3. I tell you what, like, MG are very good at cutting their prices down. If you get a car for a decent cut, you know, I know MG don't make the best cars, but I tell you what, for the money, they're actually a decent choice. I think a lot of people slate MG off. There are a couple of MGs that I would totally avoid. But personally, I do think that they're on the rise now. I know the HS has recently come out. They've also done a refresh ZS. I'm going to talk about the ZS, my car, in a different video. But to sum up, guys, this little overview video of the MG3, should you buy one? I think it depends. It depends on what your flavour is. If you want a car that is obviously going to be more fun to drive, or if you want a car that's nice and easy, and, you know, obviously, yeah, it has questionable reliability on it. But if you want a car that's easy to drive, you know, decently affordable, and has quite a lot of space, in fact, actually pretty practical for what it is, I think absolutely worth getting. And I think the newer version definitely is better to drive than the older one. It's more powerful now. It's got a newer engine. Definitely worth it. And I know the 1 litre MG are doing away with the 1 litres now, which I've got in my ZS. But definitely look into that. Obviously, if you want a more powerful car and like a better alternative, yeah, that's another option. You go get yourself a Renault Clio or a Volkswagen. Go and get yourself a Renault Clio or a Volkswagen Polo or Skoda Fabia, whatever you want to get, or Corsa even. But the whole point of this video is to really talk about the MG3, and I think MG are definitely getting better now that the HS has come out. I think they're clearly on the rise now. I know reliability is a question. A lot of MG owners talk about that. But having said that, I mean, my one's a lease, so I've got mine for 3 years. But having said that, I think the MG3 is certainly a decent car, and I think many people will certainly buy it very in the future. Definitely the new one. It's in MG showrooms now. It's worth checking out. And I'm sure it's got plenty of technology that'll be worth it. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you want to watch any other videos on Motormania on Chaz Squash, please like and subscribe the video. and alert you when new videos come up. And also click my Motormania section on the channel, where you'll find all the latest Motormania videos on the world of cars and motoring. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and have a good night. See you later. Bye bye.